Welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of college basketball. What a roller coaster of a week for the Boilermakers as they railroaded Michigan last Friday in a big bounce back game. But without further ado, let's run it. We were looking for a response, and the Purdue Boilermakers sure as hell gave it. They took this one personally and decimated the Michigan Wolverines 91 to 64. What a game for the Boilers and the Mackey crowd. You'd have guessed this game decided the Big Ten championship, and it was exactly the environment they needed. Let's get into the game. A Braden Steele score to start the game would get Purdue off and running, and before you knew it, it was 13 to 2, 4 minutes into the game. It got real bad for Michigan real fast, and they could just never recover. The Boilers did an exceptional job guarding Michigan's two 7-footer pick and roll that usually gave other teams significant issues, and they just couldn't find other ways to score. Meanwhile, Purdue's offense was firing on all cylinders. Within the first 10 minutes of the game, they already had points from Braden Smith, TKR, Fletcher Lawyer, CJ Cox, Miles Colvin, Cam Heide, and Raleigh Burgess, as his first three would put Purdue up 21 points. 32 to 11 at the halfway point of the first half. Purdue extended their lead to as much as 29 points throughout the course of the first half, but the Wolverines showed some life at the end of the first half to somewhat stop the bleeding and go into the break down 25, 51 to 26. It was a bit more even to start the second, as both teams got some buckets in the first couple of minutes, but some of that was just Michigan getting to the free throw line more often and converting from the stripe. The game got really back and forth in the middle of the second half, with a whole slew of Wolverines getting a bucket or two, but it's not like they could stop Purdue either. Even with all that offense, Michigan finally found a Fletcher Lawyer three with 6.5 to play, put the lead right back to 24, and that's when this Michigan team lost some of their steam. This game got as bad as 87 to 57 with 3:44 to play, and the last couple minutes was just Purdue playing with their food as they wrapped up this one with the final score of 91 to 64 with next to no worries all game long. Heading into the top performers, we start off with Braden Smith, who had 24 points on 10 of 17 shooting, 0 of 4 from 3 though, with 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals, and only 1 turnover in his 37 minutes. Again, near triple-double watch. And behind him is Fletcher Lawyer, who had a fantastic shooting night, scoring 18 points on 6 of 13 shooting, actually 5 for 10 from 3, so fantastic to see him shooting 50% on that many shots. 1 for 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, an assist, and a turnover in 29 minutes. For Michigan, it starts off with Vlad Golden with 14 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 4 turnovers in 31 minutes. Behind him, it was Namari Burnett, who had 11 points of his own, but only on 3 of 10 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. He was 5 for 6 from the free throw line and added on 5 rebounds and 2 assists in his 24 minutes. Going to the honorable mentions, you once again still have to talk about Trey Kaufman-Renn, who had 15 points on a very efficient 7 for 12 shooting. He was just 1 for 3 from the free throw line, but added on 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, but 2 turnovers in just 24 minutes, though. So he did not play nearly as much as we're used to seeing. And for Michigan, it's Roddy Gale Jr. with 11 points on a much more efficient 3 of 5 shooting than a lot of the other Michigan players. He was 1 for 2 from 3 and 4 for 4 from the free throw line, adding 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 turnovers in 21 minutes. Heading into the key team points, for Purdue, it starts with motivation. This looked like a team on a mission. Braden Smith wanted to be better. He played outstanding. They wanted to try to shoot the ball better and more confidently. They did just that. The crowd, which I felt was a little too dead or inconsistent for Mackey standards during the Ohio State game, they brought it all 40 minutes. Overall, this was just a complete game from everyone, and Michigan just simply wasn't ready. Secondly, it's control. Control worked to the Boilermakers' advantage in multiple ways in this game. Firstly, they limited themselves to just 6 turnovers, which is fantastic. It really does seem like Purdue either has really good games holding on to the ball or really bad ones. Almost nothing in between. Secondly, they held control and momentum from start to finish. There were no big droughts, no big runs from Michigan, and that kept them at bay firmly for all 40 minutes. And thirdly, it's defensive intensity. This new look Purdue defense is fantastic. They've gotten themselves to a top 25 level on the defensive end, and that's changed everything. Another game with double-digit steals, 14 on the night. They were able to switch and contain Wolf and Golden rather easily this game. This was a matchup that could have caused a lot of issues, and instead the Boilers made it look like just another day at work. Super impressive, and it's the reason they're seriously considered a top to 15 team in the country. For Michigan, it starts with the deep ball. Man, Michigan really hope. And for Michigan, it starts with the deep ball. Man, did Michigan hope and pray that the threes would go down tonight. 6 for 29 as a team, good for just short of 21%, and that allowed Purdue to just bury them. It's hard to outshoot a team like Purdue from deep in Mackey. I consider that Ohio State game to be an anomaly, and they just weren't prepared nor capable to do what they wanted to. Speaking of not being prepared, Michigan was royally unprepared for the B2A, also known as the belt to ass they were going to get. Purdue showed from the jump that they were more ready, they wanted it more, and they had a better game plan. I expected more from the Wolverines in this one, if I'm being honest, but they just didn't come to play. They wanted to rely on their strength in creating mismatches with Golden and Wolf, but Purdue saw that coming and used their ability to switch to negate that mismatch, and Michigan wasn't prepared to make a counter move, plain and simple. And thirdly, holy turnovers. Boy, oh boy, Michigan could not help themselves when it came to turnovers. This is a common theme for them as a team that averages almost 15 turnovers a game, but they managed to put even that number to shame by racking up 22 turnovers on the night. That is rough. All those turnovers allowed Purdue to get 29 points off of turnovers, which, by the way, is more points than Michigan had in the entire first half of basketball. The Wolverines will continue to put a significant cap on their potential if they don't learn how to take care of the ball, and that's becoming evident as Big Ten play continues. But Purdue heads into the last week of January with a week to prepare for the first edition this year of one of the biggest rivalries in college basketball, as the Indiana Hoosiers will look to save their floundering season. The paint crew will be ready. As for Michigan, they'll head back to Ann Arbor to welcome the Penn State Nittany Lions on Monday and try to add to Penn State's recent skid. But that's all I've got for today. February is around the corner, and you know what that means. The countdown to March begins. It seems like just a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the start of this new season, but here we are. Keep tuning in as we enter my absolute favorite time of the year. But if you want more from us, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm out.